President Tinubu reassures of gains of subsidy removal for economic development. Joint security team naps Abubakar Mohammed, a suspected gun runner. Plus, people with disabilities seek more inclusion in governance. These and more on Panorama today, reaching you live from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Elizabeth Omori. Thank you so much for joining us. Removal of fuel subsidy and streamlining exchange rate will be sustained for a more competitive economy to attract foreign direct investment. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that President Bola Tinubu gave the assurance when he met with African Export-Import Bank and European Bank for Reconstruction and Development presidents in Paris, urging other investors to take advantage of the opportunities.
On the sidelines of the summit for new global financing, President Bola Tinubu in separate meetings assured the delegation to stimulate the economy with policies that support investment in areas of Nigeria's competitive advantage, particularly agriculture. With reforms for national survival, the federal government will take courage to reposition the economy, calling for more collaboration to solidify the economy. Afrexim Bank President commended President Tinubu for the bold step in removing the fuel subsidy and unification of the exchange rate.
We also then looked at what support we could continue to give to businesses and banks under the environment, and as well as to NNPC as they implement the new pricing regime for oil products. He reaffirmed the support of the government of Nigeria for the bank and also for continued active engagement with us. We are really very pleased with that because it paves the way for us to continue to do what we are doing in the country.
The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development President, Ronald Basso, said the bank will focus on the private sector, especially small and medium-scale enterprises. From the French capital, Paris, Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Still on the sidelines of the Finance Summit, there's a new vista of hope for developing countries as agreements to relieve debt distress and to access financing sustainable development programs take off in Paris, France. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila once again reports that President Bola Tinubu is amongst world leaders attending the summit.
It was a rainy day here in Paris, but world leaders from the globe, north and south, arrived Palais Bonnier in the French capital to network and lay foundation for a new system in tackling shared challenges. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu joined world leaders on the consensus for redesigning the global financial architecture, which will favor poverty reduction, debt restructuring or cancellation, and more consideration for vulnerable countries affected by climate change and COVID-19.
Je veux aussi remercier, chère Mia, la Première ministre.
French President Emmanuel Macron said African countries had been at the receiving end of the major global challenges with debt hangovers that hamper growth and development.
Ensuite, notamment à l'accord de Paris sur le climat de
President of Niger Republic, Mohamed Bazoum, who spoke on behalf of African countries, said the new pact must be urgent and essential to Africa, and the framework should reflect the realities of developing countries as partners.
avec des séquelles terribles.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres told the gathering of leaders that the high-level summit will need more mobilization and political will for redesign and implementation. Climate activist Vanessa Nakate from Uganda called for a moment of silence for the helpless across the world, attributing broken promises have cost the lives of many in developing nations.
Help make the inevitable happen now. Et vous pouvez faire en sorte que cela se fasse maintenant plutôt que d'attendre. Pendant que ce sommet se tient, des gens meurent. Le petit garçon que j'ai rencontré à Kanakaunti en est mort. Le secrétaire général des Nations Unies avait raison. Toute dépense supplémentaire en faveur des carburants fossiles n'est qu'une folie.
The presidents and leaders of multilateral institutions and the private sector at the summit went into syndicate sessions to discuss the new financial architecture. From the French capital, Paris, Abraham Osman Jibrila, NTA News.
Away from the Finance Summit, Vice President Kashim Shatima was a special guest as University of Ibadan dissected and provided solutions to the social and economic challenges in Nigeria in the institution's 257th inaugural lecture. State House correspondent Musbaut Danwahab reports that the lecture was titled "Living in the Eye of the Storm: What Options for Nigeria?"
Vice President, Republic of Nigeria, and an illustrious alumnus of the University of Ibadan.
A proud moment for Vice President Kashim Shatima and his alma mater. 32 years after he backed a master's degree in agricultural economics here, he was back for another lecture. And this would only require he makes a mental note for possible ideas that will assist his principal and him in charting a new course for the country. His then faculty, in an inaugural lecture delivered by one of his classmates, weighed up options for Nigeria in the eye of the storm. The effects of a metaphorical storm in the lecture were highlighted to include unemployment, inequality, low human capital development, gender issues, migration, and the resultant poverty.
Health, education, living standard, work, and shock are the critical components of multidimensional poverty in Nigeria.
Professor Yusuf suggested diversification, urban farming, community-driven development, and national poverty alleviation platforms as part of the way forward in the socio-economic realities in Nigeria.
The time is now for us to collectively fight the storm of poverty and vulnerability. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, if we fail to eradicate poverty, poverty will eradicate us. Because when the poor are hungry and angry, the rich will not be able to sleep well, if they sleep at all.
Standing ovation for the inaugural lecturer, lessons for the listeners, and a seeming nostalgic moment for Vice President Kashim Shatima as he joined in the school anthem. From Ibadan, Musbau and Wahab, NTA News.
To full sufficiency, the federal government through the Ministry of Agriculture is seeking more interventions from the African Development Bank to boost food production. Musa Babali reports that AFDB and the federal government are currently co-financing an agricultural transformation agenda in 7 states of the country.
The African Development Bank in 2013 signed an agreement on agricultural transformation program for Nigeria. The bank provides $113.54 million for the program in 4 crop processing zones.
What is important is to develop ways of effectively targeting support to reach our farmers while ensuring that the private sector, not the government, delivers farm inputs to farmers.
The 5-year program is designed to upscale agricultural activities in rural communities, at the same time improve rural infrastructure in 7 states.
We ensure that the community has markets so that they can, do marketing with their produce. And then we ensure that there is productivity.
The first phase of the program, which is coming to an end, has provided irrigation facilities, water supply and construction of healthcare facilities and primary schools. It is estimated that about 120,000 jobs along the value chain of priority commodities and additional 20 million metric tons of key commodity food crops have been added to domestic food supply per annum. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
You're watching Panorama on NTA. Let's take a break. More reports ahead. To stay with us. Welcome back. In order to improve on the efficacy of traditional medicines and boost confidence of Nigerians in natural products, the Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Aberdeen Commercial Energy Solutions UK to promote standardization. The partnership is set to have a 4-year plan. In 2013, the World Health Organization designed the Traditional Medicine Strategy 2014 to 2023 to assist nations develop proactive policies and implement action plans that will strengthen the role of traditional medicine in keeping nations healthy. Nigeria is not left behind in this plan, as the Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency partners a UK-based company to build a stronger traditional medicine market for the nation through research, training, and networking.
To elevate our traditional medicine in such a way that there's a roadmap for transforming it from what we know as it is into a structured scientific basis, having scientific basis and also repeatable basis.
The strategic partnership, NNMDA says, is a renewed impetus to reposition activities of practitioners that will in turn create an export economy.
All of this goes into what we call standardization, and that's what we are trying to do effectively at the agency, so that when anybody is talking about Nigerian traditional medicine, there will be no questions about it.
Political will of governments at all levels and confidence in herbal medicine, both partners agree will project the healing power of natural medicines among Nigerians. Concerns surrounding proper financing of primary healthcare system in Nigeria will be adequately addressed by the Bola Tinubu-led government. Vice President Kashim Shatima gave this assurance during a meeting with state governors and development partners on how to end circulating variant polio virus in the country. Adeni Itaiwo reports.
In 2020, Nigeria, to the relief of many, was declared wild polio virus free, a result of concerted efforts by the 3 tiers of government and development partners. However, another variant, circulating polio virus 2, is still a public health concern, with disturbing prevalence in about 3 states of the Federation. This meeting between Vice President Kashim Shatima, state governors under the banner of the Nigeria Governors Forum, and development partners, including Aliko Dangote and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations, is one in the series of many engagements that will see to the end of the scourge in the country. The way to go, according to the Vice President, is to build a united front against the virus.
We are gathered here today because we do not wish to think to the depths brought about by a virus. And we can't guarantee such a future easily if the occupants of this room, who are promised to work with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are invested in this grand vision of a healthy nation. If we are not united to fight the wild polio virus, we wouldn't have been able to bear the burden of defeating it in 2016. This is why we are committed to eradicating the variant polio virus by the end of this year, and ensuring that every Nigerian child is covered in our routine immunization campaigns.
Acknowledging the contributions of field workers in the area of data collection and development partners for providing resources, the Vice President assured that the Bola Tinubu-led government will stay the course in the fight against the spread of the circulating variant polio.
We are not only fighting diseases, but also countering the conspiracy theories of those committed to hijacking our interventions. Our inspiration to remain on track is the millions of people who will die needlessly because of mischief mongers embark on a war against science.
Taking submissions from governors, the meeting appraised peculiar situations across states of the Federation.
Zamfara is one of the states who are facing polio challenge as well as cholera. So it's a major thing, and we're working hand in hand with our partners to make sure polio and cholera are eradicated in Zamfara State.
Apart from its avowed target of ending circulating variant polio virus in the country, hopefully by the end of this year, This formal interaction between the Vice President, state governors and development partners also has the potential to drive a complete system overhaul of the health sector in the country. In the State House, Adeni Itewu, NTA News.
Now let's talk security. A joint security team comprising the Department of State Services, the Nigerian Army and the police have carried out operations in Nasarawa and Kogi states and apprehended Abubakar Muhammad, aka Abu Deriba, a suspected gun runner. A statement by the spokesperson for the service, Dr. Peter Afunaya, says during the operation, the team recovered ammunition, improvised explosives and a vehicle. Similarly, the team also raided the hideout of Kabir Bala, aka Oko, a suspected jailbreaker and notorious gang leader in Kogi State. Oko and his gang allegedly engaged the troops in a gun duel during which he was neutralized. Others, however, fled the area. One AK-47 rifle with 3 full-loaded magazines, 6 locally fabricated weapons, 2 phones and charms were said to have been recovered from the suspects. Meanwhile, the DSS calls for vigilance during Eid al-Kabir celebrations and warns of an impending attack at worship and recreational centers before and during the festivities. DSS advises operators of public places to be watchful and report any suspicious movement to relevant security agencies. Now, Air Vice Marshal Hassan Abubakar has assumed office as the 22nd Chief of the Air Staff, taking the reins of leadership of the Nigerian Air Force from his predecessor, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, at a colorful celebration held at the headquarters, Nigeria Air Force, Abuja. Defense correspondent Najat Tijani reports.
Standing united in celebration and anticipation as Air Vice Marshal Abubakar takes flight in his new role, the stage is now set for more improvements in the Nigerian Air Force, building on the achievements of his predecessors.
In the near future, we are going to be working jointly, cooperating all the services to make sure that Nigerians have a very peaceful, prosperous and democratically functioning country.
To someone I know that is capable, I will be able to take the Air Force to greater heights. Yes, the single most important thing that I achieved was that we actually wrote doctrine books for the Air Force, and which assisted us in all our operations.
One of the key areas where Air Vice Marshal Abubakar's expertise is expected to shine is in strengthening national security with his deep understanding of military standard and evaluation. As the new chief takes over, expectations are high that the Nigerian Air Force will continue to build on its policies and some of its achievements that have been done over the decades. From state-of-the-art aircraft acquisitions to the implementation of advanced surveillance systems, AVM Abubakar's tenure is expected to witness significant strides in equipping the Air Force with the tools it needs to maintain air superiority. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Just when many felt the ambience of APC victory in the last presidential poll is over, a frontline group tagged the APC National Integrity Movement resonated the spirit with recognition of esteemed personalities who made the project a reality. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
May God lead you, may God use you to make Nigeria great.
The political race for the top seat in Nigeria is now over, and for the APC National Integrity Movement, it is time to celebrate the crown on the head of a man who it fits the Jagaban. But behind the new leadership in the country are the foot soldiers who made several sacrifices to make the future happen for prosperity and national development. And in their numbers, one after the other, they queued to be awarded with the uncommon plaque for service to the party and for the groundbreaking victory.
I want to encourage all youths and all our members and all Nigerians and APC servers in particular to please give him all the support to achieve all the laudable goals he has been putting to himself.
Their dedication, passion, and commitment to our party has been nothing short of extraordinary, and they truly deserve all the recognitions, honor that we are giving them today.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recognizes the urgent need to embrace inclusivity and ensure that every citizen has a voice in the political process.
Nigeria today consists of a booming population of young men and women. This is a plus for the country.
For the awardees, the honor was a fulfillment of a lifetime that does not require a speech, but increased loyalty for the party ahead of more victories. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Project Rescue Nigeria, a non-governmental organization, is urging Nigerians to be patient with the present administration in her desire to make life better for all. National coordinator of the group, Ambassador Ibrahim Bala Aboki, at a media briefing in Abuja, pinpointed key moves by Mr. President vis-a-vis political appointments and signing of bills aimed at tackling challenges facing the nation. Timothy Yusuf reports.
And when you look at
Project Rescue Nigeria team is born out of the increased need for a platform that will coordinate the activities of various interest groups who are calling for integration, sustainability, equity, fairness, as well as promoting national unity and cohesion. This media briefing is part of their efforts towards working to engender peace, unity, as well as provide support and defense for grassroots democracy in Nigeria.
Mr. President has actually demonstrated that political parties are mechanisms used to usher politicians to power, but thereof the country must remain one indivisible entity with a common goal.
While urging the support of opposition political parties to the present government, the team lauded Nigerians for their patience so far with policies which might at the moment cause little discomfort, but which would at the long term produce good for the benefit of the nation. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And President Bola Tinubu has assured Nigerians of inclusive leadership in his administration, and TAF Africa is making a case for the inclusion of persons with disabilities as the president considers appointments into his cabinet. This case for inclusivity is contained in an open letter to Mr. President. Gufan Shaji Ngwang reports.
This meeting by TAF Africa and concerned organizations of persons with disabilities is to advocate for the rights and recognition of persons with disabilities in Nigeria. The agenda is to urge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to prioritize the inclusion of persons with disabilities in appointments into his cabinet in line with his promise to carry all citizens along.
Experiences and insight of persons with disability can greatly contribute to development and implementation of policies that address specific needs and challenges faced by the community.
This act of leadership would inspire other sectors of the society to follow suit.
By doing so, you will be championing the cause of disability inclusion and demonstrating your commitment to the principles of equality and social justice.
These advocates also believe that by including persons with disabilities in his cabinet, President Tinubu would demonstrate the nation's dedication to fulfilling its international obligations. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji Ogwanyi, NTA News.
And Gufan's report ends Panorama this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Good afternoon.